Yes, you with the tall, spiky hair. Sorry? What got me into music composition? Well, I grew up around music, and I've always loved it, and to be honest with you, I mean, I did a lot of singing. You guys want to hear the first song I ever sang in my whole life?
Yes!
You ready?
Yep.
It's deep, it's heavy, you ready? It went a little something like this. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. That's my first song. I remember singing when I was in church at a Christmas program. That was my first song. And so I just have always sung, but then when I was about 17 years old, well, yeah, right, 17, I really became interested in this singer-songwriter named Barry Manilow. And I really liked his songs. I mean, he wasn't like a real flashy kind of a guy. He wasn't like a real rocker, but he was real honest. There was something very honest about his songs and his voice, and so I really liked him. And I started trying to figure out how to play his songs on the piano. And had this friend named Jay, and he knew how to play the piano really good, and he was a big fan of Barry's too. And so he and I kind of hit it off. We started making up songs that we thought sounded like Barry Manilow songs. And then I kept writing, and then I kind of stumbled across the fact that God had given me this ability to play the piano. I'd never taken any lessons. I just kind of stumbled into it, and so I'm very, very grateful for the gift because I didn't earn it. You know, I didn't develop it in lessons and stuff. But so I started writing my own songs, and that was a long time ago. Long time. I mean, that was when I used to go to the studio in a horse-drawn carriage. That's how long that was. You got it? Sorry, a long time ago. What? Exactly. Perfect. Dinosaur. I rode my Stegosaurus to the recording studio. Anyway, so I've just been writing for a long time, years and years and years, and I used to work for a television network in Virginia, and I've written for television, and I've produced several albums, a lot of albums for other people, and a few of my own, and I love music. It's a real big part of my life. So, and I know you're a musician too, so that's awesome. Question? Yes, ma'am. What got me into Full Metal Alchemist? You know what? I'm very happy to say. Is he still in the room? I saw him here a minute ago. Did he leave? You guys, I'm very honored to have the opportunity to say thank you. And he's not here. He just left. To say thank you to the person that got me into Full Metal Alchemist. My first role was Dragon Ball Z at Funimation. I had worked with ADV in Houston and had done a lot of shows there, and then I met some people that worked with Funimation. And shortly after this convention that we were at, I got a call from Mike McFarlane. And Mike McFarlane said, hey, can you do like a dark, angry, low, mean voice? And I said, I think so. You mean like over the phone? And he said, yeah. So I tried something, and he goes, yeah, that'll be cool. And it was Broly. It was for Broly. So Broly was the first thing I did at Funimation. This is a long time ago. And then I did Yu Yu Hakusho with the famous Justin Cook, who's here. You guys will miss him. And then I did Kitty Grade and Spiral and Case Closed and all of these other shows. Well, then Funimation got Full Metal Alchemist, and I didn't even know what it was. I had just finished Full Metal Panic, and I'm like, is there any relationship between them? Because I didn't know, and they're like, no, none whatsoever. So I got a call from Justin Cook, and Justin said, hey, I want you to come up and audition for this show we're doing. And I went up there, and I was reading these sides, audition sides, you guys. What they do is they have like this loose leaf notebook, and there are pages with each of the characters and a little description of the character. So when you're auditioning, you're like, you read about the character, and you're like, this seems like something I might be able to do, or there's no way I could do this character, or whatever. So so I was looking through the book, and I came across this little kid in a red coat, and a little braided, ponytail, what do you call it, and a little braid. And I read about his profile, and I'm like, wow, he sounds really cool. I didn't even know who he was. I mean, for all I knew, he had 10 lines in the show. I just thought he was a neat character. And sometimes you can't really tell by the, you know what I mean, by the audition side. Like, for instance, if the show is named Kenichi and you play Kenichi, it's fair to assume he's probably a big character. But in, like, Full Metal Alchemist, and here's this kid named Ed, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know who he is. So Justin came out. Justin, are you back in the room? So Justin came out from the audition. By the way, this is something cool you may not have known. Justin Cook was originally going to direct Full Metal Alchemist. He was originally going to be the director, and then he got promoted and kind of became over all of the directors, and that's when Mike McFarlane and Colleen Clinkenbeard stepped in to take directorship of the show, and they did an amazing job. But Justin came out of the studio, and he said, "Did you get a chance to look at the sides?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "There's this one that's really cool. I'd love to try him. His name is Ed." And he goes, "Yeah, I was thinking you might be good for him." And he said, "In fact, we need to prepare a demo episode for the Japanese, because another thing you may or may not know is that sometimes with big shows, important shows, the studios don't have the final say in casting those. The companies that own the show do, like with Naruto and Bleach and Gurren Lagann and big shows that are on, like those kind of things, and Full Metal. The companies that own the license they're very interested in how they get cast. They want to make sure everything's the way they like it. So they said, hey, Justin said, we want to prepare a demo episode for Full Metal. We need to do it right away. And he said, I want you to go ahead and record the first episode as Ed. I'm like, okay. So I did, and then months went by, and there were a lot of changes and a lot of casting and a lot of different things. But all I can say is, again, thank you God, and thank you Justin, and thank you Aniplex. When it came time to start, the Japanese seemed pleased with what I had done with the character, and so I got to play it, and that's how I got to be involved in Full Metal. And I am honored beyond words. That cast of people, the directors and the cast and the writers and everything about that show, the mixers, the engineer, it was a really wonderful experience. And I am just honored and humbled to be a part of a crew of amazing people. So, question? Yes. That may be one of the funniest questions anyone has ever asked me. When I glomped you earlier, did my breath smell bad? You know what? I don't think so.